Welcome to the VET S.O.S podcast. Remember, don't drown the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline. Today, Keith and I are settling up and going hunting with Victor Bretting, founder of the BTEX Ranch. If you're an outdoorsman, you're going to love this episode. Get ready to take some notes and figure out how you can get involved in this. Got your chaps? You ready there, Keith?
Chaps are on, coffee's in, and I'm hoping Victor doesn't look at me like another target of opportunity instead of a podcast host. But no, I'm looking forward to this episode for sure. I love the outdoors. I'm a fisherman and a little bit of turkey hunting mostly myself. So this is going to be a great one. I'm looking forward to it. How you doing, Shawn?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's, we were talking earlier, as we get older, you wake up in the morning, you're injured all of a sudden. I don't know what happened.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to decide if it's just because I'm older, if my wife decides she's going to start beating me up at night because she knows I can sleep through a mortar attack. But
There you go.
I'm not sure which one's happening yet. Might have to install some cameras and, motion sensor stuff.
Got some misery going on.
Yep. Which, for all those that know my 5-foot Filipino wife and my size, that they'll find that absolutely hysterical and probably well warranted.
What was that? What was that story? The giant, where they have the giant tied to the ground. Gulliver's Travels.
Gulliver's Travels.
Your wife, yeah. Your wife. Total Gulliver's Travels scenario right there.
Just so you know, Keith, my wife has now met you and she does watch our episodes, so she's going to know that you just called her a little person.
I was going more towards the fact that she's tying you up to the bed and breaking your feet. But yeah.
Hey, this is a G-rated show. All right, well, now that we're way off track,
Right?
Let's see. We've insulted my wife. Check. We've.
I would never insult.
I know. Oh man. All right. Well, let's get this show back on the road here. We're sitting down with Victor Bretting. He's an author, speaker, construction executive, ranch owner, and 8th-generation Texan with nearly 50 years of leadership experience built on responsibility, perseverance, and service. He's the founder of the BTEX Ranch in North Texas, where he combines his passion for conservation, mentorship, and the outdoors, and has been featured on national television through programs including Trekking Outdoors and the BTEX Ranch. An accomplished international sportsman, Victor has completed more than 140 species pursuits across 5 continents while earning recognition from leading hunting and conservation organizations. He's also the author of The Man That I Would Become, inspiring others to embrace faith, resilience, leadership, and legacy to become the person they were created to be. Just a fantastic backstory there, Victor. So happy you're here with us today. How you doing?
Well, I appreciate it, Shawn. I'm not sure how to lead in. When y'all two lead in like that, I'm going to go, oh, my God, I'm fixing to get in trouble with my wife now. So, but hey, I appreciate being on your show. Thank you so much.
Oh, man, we're happy you're here. And, the one thing that I know Keith and I can wholeheartedly agree on is, now that we've retired from the military, it's all about the family. The family's first. Mm-hmm. And, we make sure that we try to make up for all those missed years and missed opportunities and things like that. So definitely all good fun. And it's been a crazy journey, but we're here. So, all right. So you're not a veteran, but you're now working with a veteran. So let's start there. And, what made you want to help out the veteran community? Like what led to this?
Well, one, I miss NAM because I was at the very end of it, whenever it was kind of winding down. So I never served, but I believe in America, and I believe in the things that y'all have done for us and the sacrifices you've done for your family. Just kind of like you talked about a little bit, family. My wife always says it takes a tribe, and I know y'all have made tons of sacrifices being away from your family, not even counting, putting your life on the line for our country. So that always meant something to me, number one. And quick backstory, we were at an outdoor show whenever we first bought the ranch, because the ranch was just going to be retirement for us, because same thing, my wife was retiring, I was retiring, and my daughter came up to me on an outdoor show, and she had a flyer in her hand, and she was just so excited, Dad, you got to come over here and see these folks. So I went over there and I met Gordon Melton, sorry about that, 20-year founder of Hunting with Soldiers. and we had conversations and realized kind of what he did for the combat veterans. And it became something that changed my life, changed our family's life, and changed the ranch, because it went from retirement to us being able in the last half of our life, being able to give back for the people that sacrificed for us.
Well, I love that story, and love what you're doing. I mean, that's just absolutely fantastic. And I love the way it started, and it was by a flyer, and just sort of hearing about it and having a conversation. And next thing you know, you're off and run doing these things. So, all right, well, let's start with the ranch. Tell us about BTEX Ranch.
Yes, sir. So we've got 20 different species of animals. We've got a couple are here that are extinct in their native land, kind of like Pierre David's. They're extinct in China. So part of my journey as being a conservationist and an outdoorsman is same thing about giving back. Whether it's giving back to the veterans, or giving back to faith-based groups, or just giving back for conservation. So being part of the ranch is part of that conservation. Where we only harvest what we need. We harvest mature animals. The whole story about the conservation piece is worthwhile talking about. So that's really kind of where the ranch kind of goes. We do treat it as a business, but that business also brings in the revenue for us to give back, because we've given away 64 donated hunts in the past 3 years. So that's how we're able to do it, is people coming to the ranch, supporting conservation, being able to get the trophy that they're wanting, and us being able to give back.
That's fantastic. And I know for me, my mind always goes to, what I know. And I think it's kind of human nature to do that. So I think ranch, Yellowstone's been a big thing. So I'm envisioning the Yellowstone Ranch, and you're just out there on all this land. Tell us a little bit about the actual layout, or what your property and your ranch kind of look like.
So we own 2 different ranches. The whole thing comprises of about 1,600 acres of huntable acres. One is a bison that we hunt. It's on a neighbor of ours owns a grocery store here in our little small town. He's been raising bison for a long time, because I started looking into that and realized if a bison wants to go through a fence, he's going to go through a fence, and you're going to lose everything you have. So, hey, he's got an established herd that's pretty calm. We try to keep him that way. So that's on a separate property. We've got our huge whitetail, 300-inch to 400-inch. It's also on another property by a guy that's been a breeder for the past 35 years. And then we've got our 2 ranches, as well as my neighbors behind me. So it kind of comprises of 5 ranches that we basically hunt different species on, a different ranch, because you're not able to bring in stag and elk. They're going to interbreed. You got to be careful with your rams. They'll interbreed. So we've established this where there's different animals basically on different parts of the ranch, or either different ranches.
Okay. So kind of like a controlled ecosystem, where everything's kind of spread out separate, but they're all running free.
Pretty much. I mean, that's the whole idea. I have to always talk about the misnomer of a high fence ranch. Like, we got a rope tied around their neck and they're going to be in a 1 acre pasture and you're going to come in and cut their throat. That's not what this is. I've been a hunter all of my life. I know what a hunt is. I've had the greatest hunts of my life. So my responsibility is to find out what you're after, talk about how I can make sure that I'm facilitating you for the hunt, right? Because, I don't know about y'all, but nobody's ever come into my ranch and said, that 1 second I pulled the trigger, that was the greatest thing I've ever done. Thank you so much. So it's like, it's what happens before is what happens afterwards. So that is my responsibility, to make sure that you leave this ranch for exactly what you expected whenever you came in.
That's fantastic. So, Keith, you mentioned you were a hunter a little bit. The only thing I hunt is in my drop freezer. So, I like fishing more than. Well, I've never been hunting, so let's put it that way. I don't know if I like hunting or don't like it. I've just never been. I do love fishing though. So, what do you think about all this?
So, well, first of all, you went back to the elk and the stags interbreeding and the rams and everything. I'm like, all I could think about are us veterans. Like, you always had to keep the branches separate, because you bring the Marines in, they start interbreeding, and and the sailors, but that's why we have our own little sections on the fob. But
Keith's just you're just gonna
what?
pick on everybody today. All right,
he had to throw a dagger in when he can. It's
one
okay.
of those mornings. So So I'm just curious. So like, I mean, it does, yeah, like I love what you're doing. I know the peacefulness, like I grew up hunting deer and all kinds of other stuff with my father, but as an adult, I just kind of did the turkey thing because it was abundant where I was stationed in Kansas for many years. But just the peacefulness, that's the thing. I could go out into the woods and sit all morning, all day long, not see a daggone thing, and I'm okay. Like that peacefulness coming back out, it's serene. Um, so let me just ask if I could, can you share some stories even? Because, from the veteran aspect, these folks are coming in. I'm assuming, some of them might have PTSD issues, whatever it might be. Like, what's the healing element that you're seeing with our veterans and stuff that are coming into your ranch?
So one thing that, and I have, so people that are listening kind of can understand, I have veterans that hunt with me that aren't part of a donated program, right? Anytime somebody wants a donated hunt, I push them over to Gordon because he's the expert, right? He's the one that understands, he interviews them, blah, 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 blah. He's the one. But I remember the first thing he told me when we were sitting down trying to plan out how how I could help is he told me, he said, give them 5 minutes. He said, they become brothers within 5 minutes. And you sit down at the table and you watch them, and next thing you know, they're poking at you. Same thing you just did. Oh yeah, well you're in the Navy. Oh, I'm surprised you can even swim. So it just goes on, and you get such a kick out of it. But they bond. They immediately start bonding, right? So what you were talking about, the outdoor heals. Sitting outside at the campfire, right, watching the flames, sitting down talking about the stories. And Gordon told me, he said, you not being a veteran, he said, so let me just work through some things. He said, don't ask them any questions. He said, if they want to talk, let them talk. And he said, you'd be surprised. He said, just listen. And he said, if they ask you a question, he said, sure, more than answer. He said, but just listen. He said, because part of what we're doing is just getting them out here to heal, just to talk, to get their mind completely away from everything maybe they've been dealing with, and to have that camaraderie that they used to have when they were in the service. So that's the first thing I'm going to say is the camaraderie comes back, the healing starts, and then the harvesting of a trophy. Honestly, it is a very secondary thing. It's just an avenue to get them here so that they can have a little peace and quiet, look at the stars, have the camaraderie that they're used to, and hopefully find that transition of healing if they need it.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about a campfire anyway. That was always my favorite part of camping. Sitting around a campfire, that'll heal your soul right there. It's
yes, sir.
That's amazing. So when one of these hunts occurs, like kind of walk us through that. Like, what are we hanging out all day? Are we doing some talking, or are we getting right to the hunting? Like, how's that whole day of the hunt or a couple of days of the hunt work?
So when we first come in, we're going to get them situated, of course, get all the paperwork taken care of, and then have our safety briefing. We'll sit down and talk about what they should expect, what we expect out of them. There's not a hunter that goes out on our property without a guide. So we have a guide with them 100% of the time, helping them, assisting them, and quite honestly, trying to make sure that everybody's safe because nobody's going to get hurt on my ranch. That's, being in construction 50 years, what's the first thing you talk about? Safety. Everybody's going to leave where they came, right? So we go through that, and our goal is to get them out that afternoon, put as much time in the field as you can because this is not anything guaranteed you're going to have to work for your hunt. So that's kind of what we do. Next day, we'll usually go back out again, have breakfast around 9 o'clock, go back out for a secondary type hunt, come in around 2 o'clock, have lunch, have a nap, chill out, do whatever they want to do, and then go back out. So the focus is on the hunt. Right. The downtime is them being able to, just socialize or get to know the guy they're with or talk about a story or ask questions about the ranch. So it still is focusing on the hunting, and we try not to put any pressure other than we're going to feed you. We're going to go out for a hunt. You do what you want to do at that point in time afterwards.
That's fantastic. Nice and relaxing, Keith, just the way I like it.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of the relaxing, and I'm just curious because there's different methods to do these things, but sounds like you're out there hunting some decent sized game. So, like, you do bag something. Are we rucking it back to the cabin, or are you bringing out some 4-wheelers, or how are we getting it back to back to the site.
So we got 5 Can-Ams on the property. So if you want to walk, we're more than welcome to walk. I've had people put 10 miles in a day. It's whatever you want to do. We're here for you. I want to make sure you have the hunt that you want. We've got a tractor. If we harvest a stag, or a nilgai or anything big, we'll bring the tractor out, put him in a bucket, bring him back in.
I've had to lug a 6-point buck out of the woods before. It ain't no joke.
Well, we're all on profile.
It's kind of like you were talking about. It depends on what service you're at. If you're a Marine, I'm going to make you pack it back in. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the Air Force, we're going to bring in a copter, lift it up, and bring it over. I mean, it depends on where you're at.
Well, if they're in the Air Force, I'm surprised you didn't just shoot it for them.
Yeah, I get to laugh all the time at that because my son's in the Air Force. So he's over here at the Fort Worth Joint Base with the Navy. So yeah, I get to razz him all the time, even though I don't have the privilege of serving. I still get to razz him.
He just calls in an airstrike on it.
That's what he does. He sits back and he says, "Oh, you missed. Would you do it again, please?" But we got a cold storage, as well. So we'll quarter the animal, put them in a cold storage. We'll cape them if somebody wants to take them to our taxidermist or their own taxidermist. So we'll cape them out, get them prepared to go. So we'll do everything for them to the point in time. We won't process, and we won't basically take the cape off the head. You take it with the cape and the head and the horns, but we'll do pretty much everything getting ready for the processing or for the taxidermy.
Okay. And how long are the folks out there for?
Usually 2.5 to 3 days. That's pretty normal, and we'll usually do a group of 4. You start getting more than that, it just gets tough because a lot of the hunts we'll donate will be aoudad. That's a hard hunt. I mean, they don't come to feeders. They're very wary, extremely quick. So, you're going to have to spend some time in the field. So you start getting more than 4. It gets really hard for us to harvest the animals for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
It sounds like an amazing experience just to go through all this, and especially in a somewhat controlled environment, right? Which I really like how that is all set up and run. So tell us, I know it's not your company, but can you tell us a little bit about the organization you work with when it comes to these hunts and, what they do?
So if you're talking about the construction company that I work for?
No, the
Hunting with Soldiers?
There you go. Hunting with Soldiers. I was going to say it the other way.
Yeah. So Gordon founded it 20 years ago. It started out really for combat veterans, but it's not just for combat veterans. Like I just saw him post something where he's got a sweat equity hunt. They're going to come in and help, fix fences or help with the roads or whatever. And then they'll have some donated hunts and time, on the ranch. So he does a combination of a lot of things. We've done, I think we've done a couple of Purple Hearts hunts with him specifically for Purple Hearts. The last one we did, I think there was a silver, 2 gold and a bronze star or something. I think there was is a heavy combat group that was in there. So he's he's got a big heart. The guy just cares about what he does. I think he just got through going. I was talking to him the other day because we always do they call it a hunt of a lifetime for him. We'll basically donate a 200+ inch whitetail for him to raffle off. And so we're on our second hunt of a lifetime that he's doing. So there's a lot of things that he does from the raffles, basically just from donated hunts. The neatest thing that I gotta put a plug in, because honestly, this is not only him, but Justin Boots, but every veteran that comes out to the hunt gets a pair of handmade boots. And they can have the Hunting with Soldiers logo on them. Like I had mine. I kind of donated mine, which helps for the veterans that have like lost a leg or 2 legs, because they have to completely design their boot differently. So whenever I'd purchase my boot, it went for the donation basically for the people that have to have the special boots basically being done. But he does a lot of things. I mean, the man's got a heart of gold. He really cares. And he brings in everybody he can to try to help with his mission.
It's fantastic, and they'd lose money making boots for me.
Yeah. You ain't got one of them big feet, do you?
Oh, they might be a little large. Oh my goodness. No, that's fantastic. And I love the fact that for amputees as well, that, you know, they understand that and they're willing to do all that. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, there's
So,
a special guy that comes in specifically that measures for the amputees. I had Joey Woodkey was out with us. He's part of the host on Trekking Outdoors now, and he was the gold medalist in the paraplegic Olympics here in 2022 for the hockey team. Same thing. Good guy, good support staff, and he was here getting his boots done whenever Trekking came out with us.
you're going to ask something, Keith?
I had a question. I lost it.
It'll come back.
So
There it went.
So it was on it, right? It was on the mentorship stuff. So because you talk about like mentorship, even so, like, what does a good weekend look like for you guys? Like walking us kind of through how you turn a guest from like I just want a trophy to someone who's actually kind of thinking about stewardship and conservation and responsibility and things of that sort.
Well, the biggest thing, you know, I don't want to be a big ranch. That's not my goal, right? I was honestly really scared that when I went from hunter to outfitter that I was going to hate myself, right?
Mm.
So I'm not interested in catering to somebody who wants to spend $100,000. It's not really my thing. I want the person that spent his entire year for this hunt so that I can hopefully help him have a memory that he can share. So our mission is a lot different, right? If you'd kind of look at the website, you'd see the reviews and you'll talk about family. That's not, when we say when we treat you like family, that came from our clients, not us. That wasn't something that we made up. That's what our clients did. So when you get to break bread with the owner, you know, you get to have a conversation. You know, if you want to ask about, you know, my stories and what we've done and how we've done and success and not success and terrible shots and good shots, you know, we can sit down and talk about a lot of things. So one, we want you to make sure that whenever you come in, you understand that we appreciate you as a person and that we want you to leave as family. And whether you come back again, that's not the important part. The important part was, did you leave as family? Did we treat you like family? Did we treat you with respect? So that's the first thing we're going to do. The other one, we got a bonus, right? So my wife's a 38-year culinary teacher. So I'll promise you, you'll go back with a full belly, probably a little heavier than whenever you first arrived. So that's not my fault. That's my wife. So you can't blame me anymore. Okay. Blame her. So it's,
he had to get his wife in there somehow.
I
Throw
had
her
to.
under the bus somehow.
Yeah, welcome to our doghouse.
Well, if I don't poke the bear's going to eat me. So if I poke it, maybe it'll stay away from me. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, she sees all these, and I get it at the end of the day. But you know what? Hey, that's what marriage is about.
Keep digging, Victor. Keep digging.
That's okay. I just came back, you know, and we had a really good trip because I gave her all of my time. So I've got a little bit I can maybe get back in there. So the whole picture is we want you to feel like you didn't come to any place that you didn't belong, right? The lodge you set up, same thing, where it's not, you know, I'm exaggerating, of course, but gold leaf all over there. You know, it's a lodge. It's got wood, you know, it's got mounts hanging on over there. And, you know, we sit by the campfire, you know, there's nothing special. I just want to get to where you feel like that this is home. And if I can do that, then you are successfully going to leave with this idea that I really had a good time and it wasn't about the hunt and the pressure, because we don't pressure you. I want to know your capabilities and we want to help you with your capabilities, but there's no pressure. There's nothing here about pressure at all.
Do you bring in many like couples, like service members, veterans, and their spouses, perchance?
Hadn't had a couple yet. We've definitely had women come in. I think I think about 8 now. Probably 8 out of maybe the 30 military side that we brought in.
They're better shots usually than the men. Huh?
You know what? My wife is. All I got to tell you is I'm not running too far. I'm just going to stay there and say, please forgive me.
You die tired if you run.
That's exactly right. At least I die with a smile on my face. You know, I wasn't grunting or whatever. It's better.
Yep.
You just burned all that credit that you.
I know. It's amazing how I can do that in 30 seconds, isn't it?
Right.
Well, I think Keith is silently pitching an idea to you, so him and his wife can go hunting.
Well, come on.
No, my wife will be, I'll have something lined up and she'll be the one in the tree going, run, little guy, run, save yourself.
We'll have her at the lodge. My wife is also my huntress, so she can go either way. But she can stay here at the lodge, drink wine with my wife.
Then she'll do that too.
There you go.
My wife will fish all day long. My wife, she loves fishing, but the hunting, she's not so keen on the little critters getting hurt.
Little Bambi.
Yeah, exactly. Which we just moved, and we have quite a bit of. We have 10 acres, and so we've got deer running around, and she's like Snow White out there, just all the birds and the squirrels. And,
got feed in her hand.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. So, at the risk of stealing one of your closing questions, Keith,
sure.
I'm really curious, Victor. You in your bio, you completed more than 140 species pursuits. What was your favorite all-time hunt?
Yeah.
Was Mozambique. So, if you go to South Africa, Namibia, you're still on a high fence ranch. I think a lot of people have a misconception, but it's on a high fence. Now it might be 100,000 hectares or 200,000 acres, but you're still on a high fence ranch. And I just, I've read the Roosevelt stories and just watched his journey and what he did. And I was not going to hunt my dangerous game under high fence. So my favorite hunt was about 4 years ago when I'd kind of progressed through, all of your animals, and you got to the point in time of the dangerous game. And I went to Mozambique. And that was my favorite hunt. You work for it. I spent 58 miles on 5 days for our Cape Buffalo. Every morning you start in a watering hole, and then you have to try not to bump them because you're constantly behind them, right? So you keep bumping them, keep walking, keep trying to get ahead. Then my hippo was on my 10th day. So you're out in the water with a little dinghy boat with all the crocs and the hippos, right? So you get to figure out how not to get turned over and eaten at the same time.
Yeah.
And then my croc, I've shot a 16-foot crocodile. And, same thing, you're there, you're watching. And quick story is I was walking maybe about, 10, 15 feet away from the edge because we're on the Corabassa, which is one of the biggest man-made dams there in Mozambique outside of Tet. And next thing I saw, I'm looking across the other side, and here this croc comes flying out of the water, about 10 or 15 feet, taking his springbuck back into the water. So I started walking about 30 feet or 40 feet or about 50 feet away from the water. So you're there in God's world. You are in their world. We walk past a Jeep and here's a cobra sticking his head up in the grass. I mean, you are there. And that to me was the most greatest thing in the world, knowing this is what a hunter is and this is what you're supposed to do, just kind of like what Roosevelt did.
Yeah.
Like,
amazing stuff.
Not a bad person to try to emulate. His stories are fascinating.
Yes, sir.
It's that time, Keith.
Are we at time, Shawn? Yeah, my goodness, we're at time. Well, Victor, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It was absolutely amazing having you on and just hearing all the things that you're doing for the military community out there. And again, I can attest, I don't hunt so much right now, but I was almost happier the days I didn't have to lug something out of the woods. The days I just went out and there was nothing there, because you're just sitting and, like you said, in God's country and God's woods, and just it's serene. You hear the animals. It's just peaceful, right? It's just you and your thoughts, and well, you sometimes try to get out of your thoughts, but all the same, concentrate on the moment you're in. But it's so therapeutic. It really, really is. And so you're offering our veteran community some amazing opportunities to just go out there and experience some real peace and serenity. So thank you for what you're doing. So before we close out, though, one last question, Victor: how can folks get in touch with you? How can they get in touch with your organization and or support?
I appreciate that. So our website is really what our ranch name is, which is Bretting Texan Ranch. So if you just look up BrettingTexanRanch.com, our BTEX is our DBA. You could Google that as well and find us. We're on all the social media portion of the thing, and when you end up going to our website, you'll also find out, the book, The Man That I'd Become, is on there as well. So the whole goal is anything that we do is basically the spoke to the hub, and the hub is the ranch, so we can give back.
Awesome. Well, again, Victor, thank you so much for coming on. And on behalf of the entire VET S.O.S family, it's early, and I'm still Anyway, on behalf of the entire VET S.O.S family, we want to thank everyone for spending their time with us today. It's always great having all y'all along for the ride. Don't forget to check out all of our other episodes and keep coming back for more stories, insight, and support from the VET S.O.S crew. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a follow, share the show, and tell a friend or two. Toss your battle buddies, fire team, shipmates, and wingmen that flotation device that they need in transition so no one drowns in the sea of transition. And as always, grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline.